add value to your life.
I mean, how we get here?
Yeah.
How did we get here?
Yeah.
What has happened to the level of the politician to the point now where anybody could walk into the House of Parliament and declare that they in charge?
Yep. But worse than that, Steve, we have people in the House of Assembly who nobody knows.
You're dead right about that. We got a long way to go. So what the gentleman said just now was correct. And I don't really feel so good about those things. But the point is, you're right. When it's time for us to make a change, we're going to make that change.
Yes.
Because it's imperative. We know what is happening in this country, and we know that we've got to make the right changes at some point in time because it's good for all of us.
Yes.
And that's the way it is. Hard copy, how are you?
My friend and my brother.
Thank you, my
A servant of the people.
How you do? How you do, Amos?
Man, listen, you are so loved. You are what we call beloved. You're not just loved, beloved. Okay, now watch this. And good day to your guest. My good family, he married into my family. And that's great. That's great.
Good day, sir.
Yes, sir. Good day to you. And my best regards to your better half.
Yes, sir.
Okay, my uncle's daughter. All right, Steve, watch this now. And you know exactly how we got here. And Steve, you know what I'm so proud of you for? In the last 10 years, the Constitution, what you push. So you couldn't push immigration, what the people have heard you pushed, without going to the Constitution. And for the last 10 years, Amos and Steve and others have demonstrated, along with Sidney Walter McCarter Thompson and others, Grant Weatherford and C. Allen,
So many people.
Yes, Steve. Now, watch where I'm going with this. How did we get here? We know how we got here. And we know just who brought us here. Amos has said it over and over again. Only two parties have brought us here. And so this is where I'm going with this one. Religious and intellectual dishonesty. Okay? They could choose. In fact, they could share those two titles right there, the two parties, okay? Now, and I love this one because I voted for them because I believe that the country that we knew was mentally sick because of the decades of bad treatment, okay? When we voted out the PLP, this nation was mentally sick. And unfortunately, Steve, it came to it where everyone had to stand because everyone's life was at stake. And for the last 10 years, it did not change. 10 years later, for you and I, Steve, we're still going strong, not by our strength, but by the grace of Almighty God. We give thanks and praise to our Lord and Savior Jesus the Christ. And so I'm saying this before you let me go. And to my good brother, who on with you, and to the people listening, be no mistake. What happened to us was not a mistake. All right? Now, the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, Chapter 5, Steve, okay, says, Parliament Part 1, okay, there shall be a Parliament of the Bahamas which shall consist of Her Majesty, a Senate, and a House of Assembly. Chapter 6 of the Constitution, Steve, and to your lovely listeners, okay, we really love Steve. Steve, we really love you. Do people quiet because two parties have heard us in ways only a spirit of the living God, and that's what I wrote down on this paper to tell them before you let me go when I finish reading Chapter 6 of the Constitution. The spirit of righteousness or right, okay, always prevails. That's with an ED on the end. Let them figure that out. Now, Steve, I'm closing with this one.
Quickly, because I want to...
Yes, as it relates to the executive authority. And we could go nowhere as relates to the Constitution without really as a nation. And I'm asking Steve and his listeners, for all of us to search in ourselves for the answer of this question. What are we doing? What really happened, Bahamas? What are we doing? 71, the 71-1, the executive authority of the Bahamas is vested in a majesty that must change and say the people. So, Steve, I will go on, you know that. But you see, you are too divine. Your time here on this earth was well spent, and you are going to die totally empty. Okay? And we so we're praying God's choices blessing upon you. And God did not make a mistake about the Bahamian people or our nation. The beauty of it declares it. And so we have to see the beauty within ourselves, as beautiful as our nation is seen by others around the world, as far as they could go up or down. Okay? Now, so all I'm saying, Steve, in closing, really in closing, in 2 seconds I go and I hang up the phone. We must, as a nation, I'm asking every Bahamian, that's every business, every church, every organization, who is the true executive of our country? And when we face the Constitution, it ain't matter, it does not really matter what we think. It's what's written, okay? And we have to face this so we can deal with chapter 7, Article 7, pardon me.
Right. Article 7
of the Constitution, which needs to be removed. You can't do that. So when you talk about immigration, the reason why we're facing an immigration problem, the rich ones are the Chinese, who caused this COVID problem on us and the world, okay? And then our lower problem is our brothers and sisters from Hispaniola, and those who comes on the flight from Jamaica, mostly, these the two would like to settle here. Our problem is not really with the Jamaicans or the Haitians. They are, yes, immigration, and they need their papers from us. But the reason why they're here is because as a nation, we have never faced, Steve, as it relates to who's the real executives of this country as it relates to Chapter 6 of the Constitution, Article 71.1, and then 72 speaks about the cabinet, and 73 says, whenever there shall be an occasion for the appointment of a prime minister. So this is what we're dealing with here, Bahamas. We're talking about the top of the top, and when you understand the Chapter 6, you will see that the prime minister has very little power as relates to the executive authority. And
I hear you, Amos. You're long-winded. I know you get that all the time. And what he's saying there was just now very, very true about Article 7 of the Constitution, and that refers back to the lady who called here earlier and said they are entitled to. And I said, no, they're not entitled to. This whole Article 7 of the Constitution is a very, very serious thing. It has to be revisited. I've gone remind this thing is actually saying, so that we can all be on the same page. But I do appreciate you, Amos, very, very much. Cassius Stewart, final words today on this particular edition. Your first time in a long time with a hard copy.
Yes.
But it certainly won't be your last time, because I find it a very, very interesting conversation, and we will have you back.
Thank you.
So, what are your talks? What are your thoughts about the processes that we need to undertake? First, the immigration thing. We've got to get ourselves out of this hole that the F&M left us in. We've got to deal with this aragonite, limestone, and all other materials. We've got to deal with this education and this healthcare policy that we are going to be way above par, and so many other things. The Bahamianization thing, I wanted to deal with that today. Joblessness. We have to do a number of things again, all over again, and these are the issues that we're going to be sticking with. Mm-hmm. Your thoughts?
You know, I would just like to say to every Bahamian who is listening to my voice, whether you are in Eleuthera, Abaco, Andros, Berry Islands, Bimini, Ragged Island, Crooked Island, because Steve reaches the world. So if you're all over the world, you're listening to my voice.
You can listen any day.
I am not too concerned about where we are right now. I am excited because I know where we will be. Under the right leadership, we will rise out of this crisis. As a country, we will rebuild the Bahamas, and we're going to rebuild it stronger. The country that we have now, we inherited from Stafford Sands. The model that we inherited was from the past, but the model that we will embrace will be from the future.
New direction.
A new direction. Mm-hmm. And so right now, Abaco has been flattened because of Dorian. Grand Bahama has been flattened. New Providence is on its knees. But I guarantee you, under the right leadership, we will rise stronger. We will be better. our people will be stronger. We will be number one, not only in the region, but all over the world. In everything we do, we will embrace the spirit of excellence. And excellence will be in everything we do. So when our children speak, whether they're in grade 1 or grade 12, they will speak with excellence. When our workers go to work, whatever they do, they'll do with excellence. And so the Bahamas Democratic Movement embraced the spirit of excellence. Join us so that we could rebuild this country the way it should be, with the spirit of excellence, so that we could all stand up with our heads proud and say we could lift up our heads to the rising sun once and for all. Good day. Have a good evening.
Thank you very kindly. Cassius Stewart with me here today on the show. This show has been an idea that we've looked at, and we decide today that while it seems like elections are in the air, Free National Movement are not the only ones planning and preparing. It's a case that they may have to deal with early because they have to plan it early. But any number of teams, independents and others, are aiming for the prize this time around, and the Free National Movement government must know that. They're aiming for the prize, and it appears everyone wants the F&M gone, and they make no bones about it either. We were happy to have Cassius Stewart join me as a special guest on the show today. He's going to be back because he obviously has some things to say, and we are interested in what he has to say, and so we look forward to him coming back to our show. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Stephen. Appreciate it, and glad to be here.
Absolutely. Irvin, I think we should go home.
They're doing the best they can. Here's a proven, effective method, and they're blatantly ignoring it, but in the same breath turn around and say, our main focus is for us to save lives. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Revolution.
How you doing, brother?
I'm great. How are you?
Fine, thank you. And good afternoon to your listeners. You know, I have a question I want to ask, you know, as relates to the opening, the Bahamian people and the opening. If we did not have COVID-19, okay, the economy would have been open. It was doing well, thanks to where the majority of our tourists was coming from, America at the time, that did not knew they were going to be hit with this COVID-19 that started in Wuhan, China. The Bahamian people, a working society in the tourism sector for the most part, hotel sectors and the rest to go with it. All right? We were unsuspected. When we got hit and got shut down, the reality came home within 90 days. The reality really came home to every Bahamian, okay, how important tourism economy was to our country and where the majority of our tourists came from. Now, at the end of the day, after all of these months of the proclamation of emergency, the facts does not change. In fact, certain facts as it relates to the deaths, 200,000 people is dead in America where the majority of our tourists come from, and our Bahamian people, sometimes we could get so caught up in ourselves and our hardship that we forget whether it's our hardship or our blessing. It was coming from abroad, and around the world, over 1 million people, if not, have lost their life. And so I'm saying to the cabinet of my country, the Bahamian businesses and people of this country is now depending on you guys to keep your steady head and stay focused. At the end of the day, we have light bills and mortgages that we don't know how it's going to be paid. We need you guys to stay focused and know that the Bahamian people who depended on the economy that you closed expect in a case like this for you, Mr. Prime Minister, and collectively, all right, collectively speaking in that cabinet, for you guys to borrow some more money to take care of these people. We don't have no time to be wasting, and we don't have no time to worry about nothing else other than how are we going to take care of all of our citizens in this country in this deadly and serious times. And I am not speaking not only for myself and my three children and family, but I'm speaking on behalf of all Bahamians that we must remember the economy, our tourist comes from America.
Okay, I think we're pretty clear on that also there was no question in any of that you said. It says, good afternoon. What's it going to take for Bahamas to realize we need to diversify our economy? Yes, tourism has carried us over the years, but what happens if another pandemic or natural disaster occurs? We need to explore fishing on a larger scale, which includes processing, etc. Our present leaders just have their heads only in the tourism basket. Fishing on a large scale isn't a bad idea in theory, but I do need to understand the sustainability of that and the profit and stuff of that.
Yeah, my brother.
Right.
Listen, I heard Amos just now talking about borrowing more money.
I know, right?
The Bahamian people got a lot of issues right now to deal with, including the monies that were already borrowed.
Right.
We have no idea how we're even going to pay that money back yet.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about the future of the Bahamas. Right now, one of the things persons out here have been screaming for quite some time. The Prime Minister had made a declaration that he, in some way, somehow, would have considered trying to find relief for these persons who have mortgages, persons who are paying rent, people who owe other persons for other services that is essential to their businesses. That conversation has not even been had yet. People out here are suffering, and you're talking about borrowing more money? Let me tell you something. They have given account for the monies that they have already borrowed.
And are intending to borrow.
And the Bahamian people out here are suffering. This is a debt. Two things here. This is a debt that even we at our age right now don't even see how we're going to pay off. Then secondly, you're talking about the future of our children. What debts are we leaving for them for this money that is borrowed? There is no accountability or transparency yet. And that has a lot of people out here worried. We are worried about how we are going to get out of this debt. Where are the economists? Where are the accountants? Where are the persons with CPAs and stuff? Where's the conversation for them to tell us how we're going to get out? These are the answers that the Bahamian people want to know. Thanks for taking my call.
All righty.
Yes, Brother Jeffrey Delaveau. Yes, you heard me speaking about the Free National Movement government and the Cabinet of the Bahamas. You must put things in proper context, okay? And keep it, when I put it in context, and try not to take it out of context. Not that I disagreed with your comments that you made as relates to my comment or my personal opinion in the present COVID-19 environment, dealing with the government and the opposition lack of clear direction in where we're heading. I'm dealing, number one, for you, Mr. Jeffrey Delaveau, and the DNA. Okay? Any member of society has the right to call into any talk show, at least for the last 3 years. Now, I do agree $3 billion was spent. And I'm only concerned at the moment in $1 billion, because only $1 billion I really know about, on the level of which we had the Dorian situation we have to pay for, and the COVID-19 situation we are now paying for and will pay for, Brother Jeffrey Delaveau. Okay? What's in your head, or what's in my head, or what's in the Bahamian citizen voting public head as it relates to what we're doing with our country's resources, where we're heading as a nation? According to you, yes, there's questions that the government has not yet addressed, financially addressed. There are people still waiting to be paid from lawsuits that they have with the government, individuals and companies. The debate we're having was in reference to, and I'm speaking, Brother Jeffrey Delaveau from the DNA, on the present matter. When you come to this radio, with the greatest respect to you, my friend, and my homeboy from Acklands, I need you to remember, Amos Jr. Miller is 50 years old, okay? In other words, in age, I'm doing much better than those half my age who's just coming up, my friend, okay? Who the DNA will be depending on to vote for them to become the next government, all right? Who the official opposition is depending on for them to vote for the Progressive Liberal Party so the Progressive Liberal Party can become the next government. Likewise for the FNM, my friend. And I'm saying to you and to all of my brothers and sisters at your age who wish to be, if not an activist by choice, but became an activist by default. You have a retirement check you're getting, okay? The 25-year-old don't have that, okay? Amos Jr. Miller don't have that. So between 18 and 50, a lot of people, let's say from 18 to 60, something. Once you're in your 50s, they even ain't considering you for no retirement. So the facts don't change, Brother Jeffrey Delaveau, where we know, and you have known, like others have said on the show, we need to diversify our economy. You're talking about something that I have, and others, such as myself, have changed governments. That's a topic which would cost me help to change the government. All right? So the ones that were coming after would know what level of debate we were going to be having with them. Now, whether or not the Free National Movement government refused to live up or to listen, at least to listen to the recommendation of the voting public, that ain't what I came on the Revolution Show with brother, okay, on the Revolution Show for to discuss today. All right? And so I need you, my friend, to know the natural resources, like you have heard me said, I didn't stumble and I didn't make no mistake. Okay? I didn't go to no university like your DNA leader, but I can tell you one thing, my friend, or like the Progressive Liberal Party leader, or the Free National Movement leader. But I'll tell you all three of these parties one thing. When it comes to this country, I am, and I will always be Amos Jr. Miller, a citizen of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, much longer than you all will. Okay? The natural resources of our country, everyone knows Amos Jr. position on it. Great Britain know it, America know it. What I need is for these persons who are receiving old age pension, okay, or receiving pension, okay, from being retired from the system itself, whether you're in the hotel system, okay, and so these persons already educated their children, they don't have no little babies to take care, and they feel as though their children is old enough to take care of themselves. Well, you know what? You should have been thinking about that when you were working in the hotel businesses, okay, for the last 40 years, or you were a doctor for the last 40 years, or you were an accountant for the last 40 years, or you were some business civil servant, somebody, anyone in civil society. You had a right, okay, to stand up from day one, all right? Now, a lot of us have failed this country as relates to our lifestyle and how we lived in the past, and it's directly our lifestyle in the past, okay, that have helped to bring, individually speaking and nationally speaking, this nation to their knees. And listen to me, I don't care who we vote for, what we vote for, or what we think we're voting for. At the end of the day, two-party system have proven to us what we think is irrelevant to what they're going to do when they get there. And so I don't need the Free National Movement as a government to lead me. I don't need the Progressive Liberal Party as a government to lead me. And I certainly don't need the DNA as a government to lead me. I need the people of the living God to know that only the Creator is worthy, okay, is decent and honest and words of integrity and truthful words that shall lead a people like us. The problem is the people who should choose a God like that obviously haven't chosen a God like that. And so we're dealing with choosing man and woman over a God or a way of thinking according to the word of the Bible, okay? And so the people is spiritually sick, and from a spiritual sickness you get physical death, okay? All right, that's full stop. And how you die physically is irrelevant. Which one of the diseases or which, weapon of destruction and chaos and destruction took you out of the earth is irrelevant. It all began with the Creator. You're talking about the natural resources. You're talking about how our children are going to... No, sir. Your children are women and man based on how many you have. Amos have 3 little children. One ain't no little no more. He 20. Okay, but he's disabled, bro. All right? So I don't need persons coming on the radio who know they have a pension to get every month from the very same system, all right, that they are forgetting. There are hundreds of thousands of Bahamians who cannot afford, okay, who only wish to work right now and take care of their young selves in this world and hopefully listen to talk shows like this and be educated by all of us, collectively speaking. The nation cabinet, okay? The nation cabinet is different. And when it comes to the nation cabinet, the people of the nation in chaotic, destructive times such as this are the ones who has the first, middle, and last say, despite whatever bad treatment a government will bestow upon us within the little short 5 years or less. Okay? And so I'm not here to suggest that borrowing the government, the cabinet, the government of the Bahamas, the cabinet, borrowing, deciding to borrow more money is the best thing. The best thing obviously was, is, and will always be for the Bahamian people to trust God first rather than man and woman. And then God will open up our dark understanding, remove the scale of our eyes, and spiritually we can see the blessings in each other because of how each of us as human beings are loving and really caring towards each other. Then you can look vertically. But if you're saying you're looking vertically, but when it's time, and you know God, and when it's time for you to talk to man and woman, humanity, you lose the God in you, then the truth is not in you. Okay? The facts of the matter is, I have taken a divine stance in the world, all right? Because I know I'm better. Not because of the treatment over the years to me or my nation or my race, my generation, my race, my civilization. It's all that is irrelevant. Today is what we have. Today is the day the Most High Creator allow us to live. And we ought to rejoice through honesty. Okay, our words and our life need to be honest, have to be trustworthy. Okay? And that's what I'm about, my friend. And so, when it comes to nationalization of the natural resources of our country, okay, a sovereign wealth fund, okay, and energy and immigration, what else you want me to say, my friend? Okay? The facts of the matter, all of those things are things we have dealt with, and Jeffrey Delaveau, we have dealt with these things. Amos Jr. Miller has personally dealt with these matters and have put his opinion, his views on the record. I don't have time to say that every day and sound like a stupid or scorched record, a stupid person, a stupid man. The people are in crisis now. The economy is closed now. The people don't have the money. Where they're going to get it from, DNA, Mr. Jeffrey Delaveau, please tell me. And I don't want you to tell me they must wait until the government decide to nationalize the natural resources and do what they have to do. Don't tell me that, because people need to eat yesterday. Like you say, some of the money is unaccounted for. At the end of the day, the opposition had very little to say, and whatever you just espouse, okay, as what was spent, how much time did your leader, the DNA leader, okay, come to the public find her way to the talk shows where the majority of persons who she need to vote, okay, all right, is listening. The real people, the real family is listening, okay? Other people are listening in their transportation as they move and have to work around, and then you have a whole lot of people who don't listen to talk shows. So she must come. You, like you came, okay? You could talk as much as you want. You're not the leader of the DNA, Brother Jeffrey Delaveau, okay? I am not the leader of the Free National Movement. I was never the leader of the Progressive Liberal Party, okay? And at the end of the day, the truth of the matter is the people, natural resources are being exploited, of course, and there absolutely is no reason for any behemoth to go broke or homeless or hungry, obviously, because of who we are. But if we as a nation are not willing to stand up and declare the blessings over each other and be willing to put one another lives on the line for each other, then we're not ready for no war, okay? And that's the facts, my friend. And so the facts does not change. Whether or not we're going to benefit in the future from the natural resources is irrelevant. All I know, the economy closed now. People hungry now. People need money now. And the only way we can get it now, we, the people who need it, must say, go and borrow it, because we own the government, my friend. It's our government, okay? It's our government, and the majority of the tourists coming from America, and over 200,000 Americans have died. Our greatest and national sympathy goes out to each individual person and family who have lost a loved one in the COVID-19 in the Bahamas, in America, and certainly around the world. And this is Amos Jr. Miller Word, okay? Period.
It was the party that brought about emancipation to the black people in America. Abraham Lincoln was assassinated because he and the Republican Party at that time believed in the equality of man. The Republicans also believe in the traditional family. And Dr. P, the family is the bedrock of civilization. But today, all over the world, especially in America, and here now at home in the Bahamas, the traditional family has been under assault. Women them who got a little profession or a little career say don't need no man except to procreate a child if that's what they want to have. And some women postpone childbearing until they're in their 30s and almost 40s. And by that time, your body can't produce no baby. So you have regrets. Or some of you women who are in the 20s and early 30s now, you're pregnant and you ain't sure who the hell you're pregnant for. So you're going to get what they call a D and a C, which is simply an abortion. And I cry shame on your people who engage in abortions. Now I understand if you have to terminate the life of an infant human being, that's a human being. Don't come tell me about the fetus ain't no human. Man, the fetus is more human than some of y'all people who've been living for years. Scientific data has shown that a fetus, as you call it, can feel pain. A fetus can utter sound. A fetus has a heartbeat from the moment of conception. I'm not talking about 2, 3 years, weeks, or months later. No. The minute that sperm connects, call on the line. Hello.
Brother Bodie, I didn't want you to, your show is going to be bright today, so I didn't want you to go too far while you're talking about the Republicans and the Democrat. I wanted to
get to the point, my brother Amos.
Yes, because you know my time's short. All right. Now, I support President Donald Trump, and for that, what my reasons is this. He challenges China. America hasn't had a president that stood up to China for too long, and that caused a lot of problems in our world right up to this day. And to have China, the United Nations, welcome into the United Nations by the United Nations, and for China to turn their back, in my humble opinion, launch this attack on the world, because this is what this is. Militarily, they're doing it on one end, and economically, it's being done on the other end. And we're talking about a party, ruling a country or a government, a party that principles are above the country, the government. The party is above the government, and the government principles is above the people, and is responsible for over 80 million of their own citizen lives, including those who have died throughout the world, and America and in the Bahamas, and throughout the world from this COVID-19. And we're talking about a party, communist party, ruling in ways that have this, what's the word I'm looking for? Devastated, many lives in some serious and some deep ways because of their communist belief. And our government, I don't want this Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas to make a mistake and side with these people, and I don't want the Bahamian people to make a mistake and side with the Democrats, not on this one. Because, you see, you're talking about spirituality. When you're talking about China, who don't believe in spirituality, and the family, like Brother Bodie was just alluding to, this is a serious times, And so we have to stay focused, geopolitically speaking, while we claim we are a religious country, and many among us is very spiritual. So I only wanted to leave that on the record, and I pray Godspeed for the Republicans, because the Democrats, yes, I want to second what you have said, have lost their way. Good day, bro.
My Lord, thank you, my brother. The Lord is truly on the throne. I've been talking to Amos Miller for a number of years, and today, hallelujah, it's the first
If you'd like to make a call.
No call. The first time that I've heard Amos speak so eloquently and with such good sense. I was shocked. Maybe what I need to do is when Amos called me in the future, he said, let Amos just speak as the Spirit leads him, as opposed to interrupting him. Because once I interrupt him, he gets off that equilibrium. But Amos, I thank you for that wonderful contribution. And ladies and gentlemen, we have nothing against the Chinese. Nothing against the Chinese. We're not afraid of no nation. But ladies and gentlemen, the COVID-19, I want your opinion. Was it released, or was it originated or created in a laboratory in Hunan, China? I want to believe that it would have been. I have no scientific data, but a lot of scientists around the world believe that China has had a great impact in the origination and in the spread of the COVID-19. China has the largest population in the world next to India, I believe, a couple billions of people. So if 10 million or 20 million or 200 million of them die from something, the swine flu, the Ebola, now the COVID-19, China could sustain that. That's about 20%, not even 20. That's less than 10% of their population. Here in the Bahamas, we're a nation of 300,000 persons. So if we were to have 30-something thousand Bahamians die, that would be catastrophic for the nation and for the economy and for our people. In America, they have just recorded 200,000 deaths that are related to the COVID-19. But you see, that seems to be an alarming statistic, but it is not really on the balance of reality. America has a population of about 300 million people, thereabout. So 10% of 300 million is 30 million. 1% of 300 million is roughly 300,000 persons. So if you only have 200 would have died. I'm not trying to belittle it. It is not as serious as some people would want to portray it from the scientific and the medical data projections. It has been estimated that a vaccine, or projected that a vaccine that will be universally available will be available by the middle of next month, or at the latest, the end of October of this year. Everybody was saying it takes down to the summer of next year, 18 months, 24 months to develop a vaccine. Everybody. But you see, what you all don't realize is that Donald J. Trump, you mightn't like him. I mean, that's not the point. Who you like is important. And I've been told over the years that you shouldn't say you don't like people, especially politicians. Okay, let's get past the personalities. Donald Trump, like him or hate him, is a go-getter. Donald Trump and his backers and his allies want to be re-elected for a second term. Therefore, Donald Trump understands clearly that a vaccine must be discovered or announced before the presidential elections in the United States that are scheduled for the 3rd of November, coming up in 40 or so days. They understand that clearly. You don't get to be a stupid man, or you don't be a stupid man or a fool and become president of the United States of America. Now, of course, you could be a stupid man and a fool and be manipulated to become president. But all you all can see, Donald Trump is a man who is following his destiny as he sees it to be. America has no real problems, you know. The biggest problem that America has right now is a bunch of people who have gotten used to something for nothing. All right? The social entitlement. They want government to take care of this. The government has become a big daddy or a nanny state. The black Americans in particular are being brainwashed by the Democratic Party to believe that the government of the country, especially if it's a Democratic government, can give you everything. You ain't working, they give you unemployment benefit for a long time. You got 6 nappy-head children and you can't find none of the daddies for those children. They pay you welfare check for each child every month. I think it's on average of $250 a month. So you have 6 illegitimate children outside of a marriage, and you ain't no parent, you can't find none of the daddies. You getting almost $1,500 to $2,000 a month based on the number of children that you produce. You go up in California, even in some areas of Florida, people sleeping in tents on the sidewalk, and you see needles, hydroponic needles. These needles ain't no doctor, ain't nobody no medical shots. These needles are for drug usage. And then if you don't, I was in California a couple of years back, and if you don't step carefully in San Francisco, you step on excrement. I didn't say it on the streetment. Excrement, which is human waste. People are actually, Lord, don't let me say the S word, on the sidewalk in California. And California is the biggest state in the United States, has been controlled for 40, almost 50 years by the Democratic Party. Go up in New York, a second largest state in the United States, controlled by, again, the Democrats over the years. People sleeping on the sidewalk in New York. And in New York, the governor, crazy, you got to be crazy, Andrew Cuomo, says that they want to, and Bill de Blasio, that's another communistic, Lord let me cuss. I mean, what are these people thinking? De Blasio hired his wife at $200 and something $1,000 a year to be his advisor. You can imagine the ministers pay crazy now and appoint my good friend, Lady Patricia, and she should be a lady one day. She is a lady, Lady Patricia Isaacs, to $100,000 or more a year. You will have riot in this country, eh? But Blasio say no more money for the police, but his wife getting almost $200,000 a year for being his community advisor on mental health issues. Mother sick. The police lock up Blasio's daughter the other day. She was doing some civil unrest up in New York. They lock her up the other day, too. Ladies and gentlemen, may I take a call now? God bless you. Call on the line.
Mr. Booty.
Hey.
Once again, this is the day that the Lord has made.
Oh, let us rejoice and be glad in it.
I want to say my respect to your CEO of the Global radio station, and to all the friends and fans that are listening to you. Mr. Bodie, you're on point today.
I am?
Yeah.
Well, praise the Lord, once for once.
You know, some people don't appreciate the truth.
Who cares?
But you know, the spirit of entitlement, you call it, what you call it, social what?
Of entitlement?
Yeah, social, yeah. The spirit of entitlement is so heavy among the black, my black race in America.
Yes.
You know, there's a song that Bob Marley sang, Emancipate Our Mind from Mental Slavery. Only you yourself can do that.
Yes.
And God knows it. I lived there for a while, 7 years, along with my uncle in Florida.
Okay.
I knew of what you speak about. But you know, our politicians bring that same spirit from over there here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's one of the problems we have here.
That is the major problem, besides the abandoning of God. But the second most problem we have in this country is people want something for nothing.
Spirit of entitlement.
Yeah.
And you notice, I don't know, and I'm really very careful. You know that song with Bob Marley? And Dr. Myers also a great author of a song, Brand New World. We seem to be looking for this brand new world. But what I baffle with the COVID, my experience that I had personally, and I'm still having it, the classism and racism. I prefer a racism over classism any day.
Yeah, I prefer a man that said, look, but yeah, you're black stuff from around here.
I don't like you.
I don't like you. You could deal with that.
I could deal with that because I don't already know your thinking. But when you have your own classism scorn you, I have discovered that. We have a long way, Mr. Bodie, in the black race until we emancipate our mind
from mental slavery.
From mental slavery, with this spirit of entitlement. You know, when God asks that one to take up his bed and walk?
Yeah.
I mean, this spirit of entitlement so prevalent over this country. And this is why there goes the family erosion. And now, the feminist movement wants to feminize the whole world. That's the seed Barack plant.
Yeah.
Also, that's the seed he sowed. And you can see the feminist movement want to kill out all the alpha male man. They want to kill Mr. Bodie, who I believe is an alpha. They want to kill myself and want to replace them with the feminine man. And some of our sisters know, you know. They know these worthless effeminate man. They know it. But they're living in shame, and this is why the only way you could replace the feminine man, the alpha male man, is to stabilize the family.
That's it.
And this is what the enemy is want. This is why in America,
that's the agenda, my brother.
That's the agenda. Once you stabilize the family, which is the lifeblood of God, and you can see that. The Cayman Island gone. The Caribbean now. Gone. Barbados is next in line.
I mean.
Gone. Our family in Turks and Caicos Island. Gone. But where is the pastors? They are not saying nothing about this feminist agenda. What is trying to feminize the world?
The pastors themselves are promoting feminism because they understand from the money point you need to have plenty of women in the church.
And once you can control
the woman, they control the men.
Once you get that spirit of control, that's Delilah now. That's what she did when she reached in Israel.
Yeah.
Once she gets there, she take King Ahab in, and she put King Ahab in right between her legs. And King Ahab couldn't go.
No, she did not put his head between her legs. What she did was she caused the death of almost 1,000 of the prophets of the Lord.
But one person she couldn't get, though.
She couldn't get, what the man named? Elijah.
The prophet Elijah.
Oh, hallelujah.
Boy, but she had Elijah and Pharaoh.
But Elijah had to run away a while.
Oh, yeah. God, and what God did?
What Elijah go on to the book of Cherub or something.
God sent him back.
And God said, look here, boy, go and
go back.
And what Elijah, you know what Elijah said, though? Elijah said, look here, Lord, the one that kill up all your prophets. You will send me back around there.
He said this woman is dangerous.
Oh, hallelujah.
Lord, this woman is dangerous. And boy, listen, God sent Elijah back, and there was this unknown man who come and help Elijah fight, eh? Oh, well, I won't like my good friend Bishop Cole is scared to call the show, eh?
Well, no, he's not afraid. They have been busy renovating the church interior to make sure that when we do, we have resumed in service worship.
Yeah.
But no, he's been busy.
But, Mr. Bodie, you're on point today with Donald Trump. Donald Trump is assigned by God. Number one, principle number one, he don't believe in abortion.
No.
Abortion, Donald Trump against any person after carrying a baby for 9 months, then you have a right to abort that?
You could imagine the Lord bless someone's womb.
Yes, sir.
To have a baby.
Yes.
A human being.
Yes.
And then because it's inconvenient.
Yes.
They go to one doctor.
Yes.
And say, give me one D&C.
Yes, sir.
And they suck that human being out with a vacuum cleaner.
See, they don't want to say some of the true principle of Donald Trump. He believed in the family.
Yes.
He believed in that. You check Donald Trump's children. Although he had 3 wives.
Yes.
All his children supposed to be stable.
And all with him.
And all with him.
That's the message.
That's an alpha male man.
Could run his household and his family.
You check that out now. That's God. God rejoice in that.
And you know it's about Donald Trump. He might have liked plenty women, but he married those who had his children.
Well, David too liked plenty women.
But he married the woman who had his children too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So I want to do the 2 principles, and Donald Trump, there's the one more principle that I like.
What?
He can't stand mediocrity.
No.
He believes in excellence.
Perform your job.
Perform your job.
Or get the hell out of here.
You think our leaders could learn that?
They still in kindergarten, they're in preschool, Dr. P. They ain't going to kindergarten yet.
Although sometimes his wife look like she's be a little sassy. But when he walk with his wife. Why can't our politicians walk with their wife? What happened? They do ugly, eh?
No.
What happened?
They don't want the sweetheart to say nothing to them later on that night.
I mean, this big bull man, why these women can't, why they don't walk with the husband? What happened to them?
The husband, you ever notice some pastors that are led by females and their husband are the junior pastors? God can tell you all how this thing run, you know.
And Donald like the church.
And you know, Dr. P, let me make one last point.
Go ahead.
I will bet 50 cents that on Friday, when Donald Trump makes, he's going to be given remarks at the Catholic prayer breakfast.
Right.
The National Catholic Prayer in Washington, D.C. This new justice that I just said, new justice.
Yes.
I forgot, what her name is, Brittany or something.
Yes.
Barrett.
Yes.
I will predict, Dr. P, that Donald Trump will announce her nomination as the Supreme Court Justice.
Yes. You believe in family.
Because you see, you mightn't like all the principles of the Catholic Church.
Right.
But basically the Catholic Church do not believe in abortion.
Right.
This woman who is 48, she's one of the best judges in the United States.
Right.
You know how much children she has?
7.
7!
A 7 is what?
I mean, a perfect number.
What? 7 is what?
I mean, for one man.
Hold on. 7 is what?
The number of God.
Say it again.
The number of God.
Why did Jezebel fall out of the window?
Why didn't this woman abort one of? Why didn't she say these children get in like a real way?
I hear you.
7 children, Dr. B.
I'm asking you a question now. What? Why did Jezebel fall out of the window?
The Lord, through the prophet, prophesied it. And when she fell out of the window, or dropped out the window, the dogs were waiting for her, and they ate her flesh up.
How do you identify her?
By her jewelry and her trinkets.
Amen.
The dog eat up everything else.
Amen. And that's the only human being dog ever eat, eh?
Dog eats your lunch around here, Dr. B.
Oh, amen. You've been to Sunday school. Have a wonderful day.
God bless you, sir. I don't know if I have to take a break right now, but if I do, I'll be back in 1 minute. Alternate Billy Jr. This is Express Yourself, man. We won't hear from you all today. We're going to be right back. Don't go nowhere.